2 minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast. Thirty seconds till broadcast. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Fighting for freedom every day.
Let me tell you, the response to the show has been absolutely amazing. People can't believe that a young conservative millennial continues to fight for constitutional principles, traditional values, and talks about issues that some are even afraid to talk about. But we do it because we understand the importance of this. And now we're seeing it absolutely blow up all across the nation.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, you're done right. This is the Voice of Reason. Welcome into the program. Thanks for hanging out with us today. It's going to be a good one. I'm excited. I know you're excited. We're halfway through the week already. We got through the holiday. We got a shortened week this week into the weekend again. It's a Wednesday, which means it is a post Monday, a pre Friday. Welcome in, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in the flagship out of Wichita, Kansas, all over the country on radio, TV, live streaming. On Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, on the website at HooserReason.com. That is up and rolling as well. Make sure to go and check that out. Thank you for that so much. We're having way too much fun today. Although, I got to admit, I'm having way too much fun because I have computers that just don't want to work today. They're just lagging and going slow, and it's driving me nuts. But nonetheless, here we are doing the thing. So we had a great guest lined up for you today. He called and canceled last minute. Wasn't able to make it. Rescheduled, though. Rescheduled, so we are literally like 2.5 weeks out booked on guests, which is really cool, and it's a blast, but we're just going to rock and roll today by ourselves again. So you can leave your comments all over social media, although, again, with the fun computer issue, I can't see the feeds right now, so hopefully they're actually working the way they need to. You can also email me, HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. You can send me a message on anything that we talk about, usually here on the show. I have a few it's okay, honestly, because there's plenty to talk about. There's never a dull moment in the world of politics today. Can we at least admit to that, right? Never a dull moment in the world of politics right now. And here's the question for you. How much of the economy is an importance to you going into the general election? As we talk about election season going closer and closer.
Election 2020.
As we talk about election season, how important is the economy to you? And not just the economy, but your job. You having financial income. Because we still try and see the many places, many counties, many cities, many states trying to shut down due to COVID-19. And we're trying to reopen things up slowly but surely. The economy is doing better. The GDP actually grew a little bit. We see the Dow Jones back up to where it was prior to the COVID issues. Unemployment sitting at around 8%, which they expected it to be around 12 to 15% for the next year, and we're down to 8 already. Joe Biden said that would never be able to happen, just like Barack Obama said back in the day when you can't bring them manufacturing jobs back. But indeed he did. Donald Trump did, meaning that Barack Obama. He said that would be a pipe dream. You'd have to wave that fairy wand and actually make things happen, and poof! Apparently Donald Trump has that magical wand because they all came back, and they came back tenfold, and they're still coming back, even when Joe Biden comes out and says, well, those were the easy jobs to get back. You remember that? Those are the easy jobs to get back. All the restaurant workers and salon owners, the ones that are still shut down, by the way, those are the easy jobs to get back. It's going to be tough to get the other ones back. And then they came back. And the ones that he said were the easy ones, the restaurant owners, the bar owners, salon owners, those are the ones that are still close struggling right now. So when those come back, the unemployment's going to go even lower. What a concept, right? Well, here's the headline for you. I'm the eternal optimist, as you know. I think that everything has an opportunity to learn from, to grow from, or to prepare for in some way, shape, or form. According to theweek.com, more than a half of households in the 4 largest U.S. cities struggle financially during the pandemic. Now, of course, people are going to be struggling, especially in large cities. That's where everything's shut down. We don't like large congregates of people. We don't like everybody clustered together because we need to wear masks and we need to socially distance. Now, that's not really true. According to the CDC, we need to wear masks if we can't socially distance, but they want us to wear masks and socially distance. And then we won't get the virus until you do get the virus. But more than half of households in the 4 largest cities in the United States struggle financially during the pandemic. I'm always one to, again, be the eternal optimist. And opportunity arises here. We've never seen a pandemic like this, at least for a while, a long time, early 1900s when we saw the outbreaks of some viruses there. But outside of that, we really haven't seen something like this before. Is this, and maybe you've already done this, or maybe you've already worked towards this, is this an opportunity for you to prepare yourself better financially than what you have in the past? Having an emergency fund, being able to pay off debt so you don't live in debt, having the mortgage, having credit cards, having the auto loans. I don't want to sound like Dave Ramsey here doing a financial talk, but it really does beg the question politically on what we do during times of crises. Because so far during this time of crisis, we've gone the opposite direction, in my opinion. We've demanded bailouts. We've demanded stimulus checks. We've shut down the economy, which I believe was unnecessary. We've shut down businesses, which I believe was unnecessary. We've struggled in ways that I don't think we've needed to. And then we say, oh my, look at that. We have the mortgage, we have the credit card, we have the auto loans, yada, yada, yada. I can't afford it. I can't live. And we shouldn't need to be in that position. And look, I'm in that position as well. You have no idea how much student loans I have to pay off. But I'm working on it. I am on that quote-unquote Dave Ramsey plan, paying those things off little by little. And it's nice, by the way. It's moving in the right direction. It's just slow moving. And I'm one that doesn't have a whole lot of patience. I like to pay things off right now. But has this woken you up to the idea of maybe to be prepared a little bit better? To where when things happen, I'm okay. Because politically right now, what we've done is we do what we always do in societies. We say we need to do something. We need answers. We need someone to help out because it wasn't my fault the economy tanked. No, it wasn't your fault that the economy tanked. It was your fault, however. To some degree, let's look at ourselves in the mirror, mine included, and saying, yeah, I wasn't quite prepared for it. I should have been. I could be now, and I will be next time because, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, because I made the same mistake again and again. I tried to reinvent the wheel over and over and expected a different result. That's the definition of insanity, right? And I don't want that. So we need the opportunity because what we're doing right now is saying, government, save me. Now, if you don't have any debts and you've lived minimally and you still got laid off, obviously there's nothing you can do about that. And people need livelihoods in order to continue on with their livelihoods. They need paychecks to be able to pay for the bills, to pay for electricity, to pay for their gas in their vehicle. Obviously, they need money for food. We need these things. And I'm not saying that the stimulus packages were bad in any way, shape, or form. What I am saying, however, is that while we demand a secondary round of stimulus paychecks, while we have those that are claiming that the unemployment is still so high that we're never going to get back and that we have to have more money, we need unemployment, we have states wanting to extend unemployment benefits, and while we even see the new, what they call the age of disorder, which I want to get to in a second, we've handled it almost the wrong way, or we've allowed the opportunity for these things to become permanent. Name one thing the government has done in the entire existence of government when you give them power and they refuse to give it up once the crisis is over. Wasn't that the fall of Rome, by the way? You have a republic. You have times of war, times of uncertainty. So you put your large commander as the emperor to decide things. And after a while, they're like, I really don't want to give this power up. Republic, Congress, you're useless. We don't need you anymore. We're just going to stay in war all the time and continue to expand all the time. So continuously being in war so I can remain in power. It's happened since the dawn of age, the dawn of man. We've always seen this. And we're not seeing anything different here in the United States. Government. We're going through a global massive pandemic or a plandemic or however you want to spell it. We need help. All right. We'll increase our Department of Employment, our Department of Labor. We will increase different stimulus checks. We will bail out businesses. We'll give them quote unquote loans that can be forgiven if they use it for certain things. But do you ever get money from the government without strings attached to it? Come on. Come on. As Joe Biden usually says.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. You really think the government's going to give you money? That's why I like to be more independent based on states as opposed to federal governments. And John Kasich actually said something half decent a few years back when he ran for president and said, yeah, I would love to be able to cut Planned Parenthood out of the state of Ohio when I was governor. However, I couldn't because then the government would cut all the Medicaid benefits into my state. And over 30% of my population in the state of Ohio is needing independent on Medicaid, and they hold that nice little fruit over my head and dangle it all the time. So therefore, I cannot cut Planned Parenthood out of the state of Ohio and try to ban abortion. It's not going to happen because they have me over. We don't want that. We want more independence. But now we've given the government more opportunity to control us by saying, you know what? Oh, look at the pandemic. We need help. So what did we do? We signed a $3 trillion package to try and help out individuals, and we demand more. We're going down the wrong direction, and I'm hoping that most individuals have been able to wake up and realize that government spending is not a very good thing, for one. Number two, we can work towards preparing ourselves in case this ever happens again, or if this is too elongated, and we can go in the right direction. Because the way we're going right now, according to Market Watch, there's different ages of economic prosperity throughout history, throughout the United States, throughout different decades, throughout months and weeks. They have different ages. And according to MarketWatch.com, there's a story, millennials to redistribute wealth from older generations to the young in the new quote-unquote age of disorder, according to a Dutch strategist. I want to read you part of this. It probably won't take a great deal of persuasion to convince investors that there's an age of disorder. That's the title of the new Dutch bank research note, which says the world is entering its sixth distinct era of modern times. Now, I don't know if you remember back in school, the different eras. The era of technology or manufacturing, or the modern era, or the whatever eras. I mean, art era, whatever they call those. I don't remember. Or don't remember all of them, at least. Remember some of them. But now we're going into the age of disorder in a new era of modern times. Say goodbye to the era of globalization, which is what we've been in so far. Embrace yourself for the age of disorder, where millennials firmly established as the generation of quote-unquote have-nots take their revenge and redistribute the wealth from the older generations to the younger. Millennials are usually defined as those ages between 22 and 38 years old in 2019, according to the Nielsen Media Research. The note by the strategist Jim Reed warns the discussion of inequality within and between countries will not be limited to wealth and income. Think about this for a second. This is, I mean, my generation, and I apologize for it all the time. As you know, I think that we're foolish in many cases, and that we do some really, really dumb things as a millennial. That's not all of us, though, and I'm trying to rebrand that. That's why we do this radio show, is to try and rebrand the millennial generation, which is what we say all the time. But we've gone to the point where we're creating a new quote-unquote age of human society. Now, I don't know if my generation's aware of this or not, and it's hard for me to accept as well because, like I said before, I'm a very impatient kind of guy. When I want things, I like that instant gratification, whether it's social media or whether it's business ventures, or whether it's success, and whether it's downloads and podcasts and ratings and whatever else. It takes time, obviously. It takes time to build a following. It takes time for people to pay attention to you and be like, wow, he's not a complete idiot. Or some still believe that. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But it takes time. It takes a lot of hard work. Something that the millennial generation that has received participation trophies their entire life has a very difficult time understanding. Hard work, longevity, the time that it invests to actually make something like that happen. It's something that we don't understand. So what have they done? Instead of investing their time, instead of learning the work ethic, instead of working really hard to grow and be wealthy in time when you get older, instead now we are in the age of disorder, where the millennial generation just wants to say, thanks for working so hard, older generations, because you've set aside a nice little retirement nest, or you've done really well for yourself. We're going to take it away and give it to my generation now because we don't have anything, because we're victims of the evil society that you've created. Because we don't want to put the hard work into it nor invest into it and realize that it takes a long time to collect those things. We just want it right now. Continue this when we come back, because I think it's kind of important. And is it something that we can stop to make sure we don't go into an age of disorder? Right back on The Voice of Reason.
Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HooserReason.com. Again, HooserReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station. We're here for you. Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can listen to the podcast, catch our special features, and more. It's the Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hoosier-holic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe to any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. For a schedule of upcoming guests on the program, daily show topics, or to reach out to the Hooser Media Network, visit us on the website at HooserReason.com. Or for general inquiries, to be a guest on the program, or to have Andy a guest on your program, email us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Keep fighting for freedom with us every day right here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Now, back to the show.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Welcome back into the Voice of Reason. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Great to have you along for the ride. Radio, TV, live, streaming, podcasting. Doesn't matter where you're at, how you're watching or listening. We appreciate it more and more each and every day as we see our numbers continue to grow and more support. If you'd like to email me, I get emails from all over the country from listeners, so thank you for that. You can also do that at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, as we are almost in all 50 states. Trying to cram 10 pounds of reason into that 5-pound bag, trying to rebrand that millennial generation one radio listener at a time, which I think is desperately needed, because right now we have the millennial generation causing the age of disorder. And I think it's appropriate for the titling for it, right? The age of disorder, as we have disorderly chaos from the millennial generation wanting to take from one and give to another, because that's really what the mindset is. And it's going to bleed into our politics. It's not just the crazy, angry young kids out there. This is serious, because they're going to influence our government. Worldly. Not just right now, but worldly. It's going to influence our government. Governments all over the world. Look at the AOCs of the world. We want to tax more. Here's the thing. And if you're going to do something, at least do it smartly. At least do it somewhat intelligently, because we have someone who wants to redistribute and take from the wealthy and give to the younger generations, give to the older crowd who's been working their tails off for an entire life, trying to be able to enjoy the last little bits of their life or the later half of their life, to the young generation who wants to live it right now and not have anything in return, which is dumb. But if you're gonna do it, then you should probably just take that money and put it directly into the hands of. But no, what do? They do it through the government. And they want to do it through taxation. And they want to do it through government programs. In fact, according to this Market Watch story, they say, in fact, an issue that is quickly emerging as a political force is the intergenerational gap. Assuming life does not become more economically favorable for millennials, they could see potentially turning point for society to start to change election results and thus change policy. What type of policy could be changing? Such a shift in the balance of power could include a harsher inheritance tax regime, less income protection for pensioners, more property taxes, along with greater income and corporate taxes. Think about that for a second. Just let that mull around in your brain for a second. We have the millennial generation that wants to take from the elders and give to the younger generation because they have everything and they've worked so hard for it and they have all of it. We just need to take it away from them. I don't have anything. I go to my latte and I get my coffee every day. I go and I do my yoga class. I don't have any income. What's going on? I want to be that artiste. I want to be that writer. I want to be that specialist in whatever because I'm super duper special. So therefore, you need to fund me in this sense, which is honestly how some actually like to act. And then the ones who actually, worked hard their entire life, put away some retirement, put away their pension plans, they get to enjoy that now. And we're like, you need to get it to us because you have more than what I have. I'm one, as I've mentioned, I have that instant gratification mindset. I have a very difficult time working in long periods, or it's not working in long periods because obviously I do, but wanting to get it all done right now. I'm very impatient. If I have a collection of a movie series, for example, like a Rocky movie series that I want, I can't just buy one at a time or once in a while. I need to just go buy the whole set because it bothers me that I don't have the whole set. Now, sometimes that mindset gets very expensive depending on what hobby you're looking at doing. But I understand you have to work hard in order to get it and incrementally grow and incrementally upgrade yourself little by little, which is what you do in life. They're not wanting to do that. But think about it for a second. If you want to do that, why would you increase an inheritance tax? If you're trying to get the money from the older generation to the younger generation, why would you have the government take larger portions of that inheritance to give to the younger generation? Why would you increase the inheritance tax? Why would you increase property taxes? Because you want to give it from the older to the younger generation. Why would you have the government take more of your property tax money instead of allowing the younger generation to be able to afford housing so they can get more things, which is what their ultimate goal actually is. Why? We'll tell you about it why when we come back. And I don't want to spend the whole show on this, but I find this interesting. The age of disorder that the millennials are causing, and they're doing it to themselves. Doesn't make any sense to me.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of The Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hooser Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always sign up for the Patreon site to get exclusive content, maybe hear show products before we air them on the radio, and a lot more. And when you support us on Patreon, you also help the show be able to fight for conservative values each and every day. So it's a win-win. Just find us at Hooser Reason on all of your social media platforms, or you can find a link to all of our social media sites on our website at HooserReason.com. We know you're on social media already, so bring some reason into your day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
The Hooser Media Network is way more than just the voice of reason. It's your source to find numerous different online talk shows, podcasts, TV, and radio programs, all in one simple online location for you. From political talk to health talk to whatever you may be interested in, we're here for you. And I tell you, it's growing every day. Catch Tracy Maxfield with her podcast, Engage, Educate, and Empower, discussing mental health issues in children and teenagers. From bullying, teenage suicide, addiction, ADHD, and so much more, learn from Tracy and her guests about symptoms, signs, and ways to talk to your children, plus so much more. Having battled depression, being the author of the internationally acclaimed book, Escaping the Rabbit Hole, and being a retired nurse, Tracy is kind of the go-to on the subject. Make sure to find her on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, along with her website at tracymaxfield.com. Also, make sure to tune into the weekly podcast, Jump, Pivot, and Roll with Shannon Stiles and Rachel Murphy. Taking that next big leap of faith is hard. Trying to write a book, maybe struggling with a relationship, looking to take that next big career step. What's stopping you? There's a lot of big questions there, and they're questions that Rachel and Shannon want to help with you each and every week. It's Jump, Pivot, and Roll on any of your favorite podcasting sites and on Facebook and YouTube. All of these shows and a heck of a lot more can be found on the Hooser Media Network Facebook and YouTube channels. Make sure to follow and subscribe to check them out today. Follow all the shows, and if you have any inquiries, check us out at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. Oh, hi. You know, conservative messages now are more important than ever before. Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda. What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason, and I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet. It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hooser Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn. Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode. Third, make sure to visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what the Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network.
When Reason Meets Radio. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
I don't know if you're aware or not, but reason seems to be far and few between in today's times. Welcome back into the Voice of Reason. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Radio, TV, live streaming. By the way, there is a new survey on the website. Just go to HooserReason.com. You can fill out the new survey. It's only like 2 or 3 questions talking about the election, priorities to you in the election, and moving forward, which is, I think, always important. We'll start using some of those as discussions on the air on things that are important to you. So let me know your important issues and what's important to you, and we appreciate that very much. I want to wrap up this conversation real quickly here as we have the Age of Disorder brought to you by the Millennial Generation. The Age of Disorder brought to you in part by Millennial Generation individuals between ages of 22 and 38. Because apparently we want to have more money from the older generation to us, but yet we want to do it through government taxation so we can get it. This is the lunacy that they actually come with because they think the government solves all. Now, we could go in so many different directions in that as well, right? Between the stop having faith in a higher power towards having faith in the government to just being dumb and thinking taxation actually solves anything. I mean, remember, these are the ones that do like follow Kim Kardashian on Twitter because we need to know what Kim Kardashian's doing, you know. Which, not that I follow it in any way, shape, or form because I don't even know what they do, but I did see the headline according to OKMagazine.com that the Kardashian show, The Kardashians, is done. It's done. Oh my. Oh my. Why? Kris Jenner, the greedy quote-unquote Kris Jenner, wanted at least $40 million per season of the Kardashians. I don't know what they do on the Kardashians. I don't know why they're asking for $40 million. I don't know what the Kardashian girls even do other than just like gossip. And if that's all they do, then who listens to that garbage? Who watches that? But Kim Kardashian and Kanye West have done some things with Donald Trump. So, you know, I guess we can't complain because at least they have somewhat of a conversation started there. I will say the only episode that I even half paid attention to, which I didn't even watch it, I just read about it, was when they talked about getting a firearm because they wanted some protection, and like all the other girls lost their minds. Oh my gosh, because they actually were talking about getting a firearm and bringing a firearm in the home. But this is the young generation. They care more about what Kim Kardashian's doing on Twitter and what a celebrity's doing with their nice little PETA protest is, except for instead of actually focusing on like tax rates and regulations and things that are really, really important, they don't want to know about those things. You have to think to discuss those things. I will say the Democrats and the progressives have done a very good job trying to appeal to the young generation, which is why we're seeing an age of disorder. And I'm going to call out that from now on. Whenever we talk about the millennials, we talk about AOC, we talk about this shift in the pendulum of the political pendulum swinging farther to the left where it's going to get stuck. We always swing back and forth, and everybody says, oh, the pendulum will go back and forth. People get tired. They'll go back and forth. But ideologically, it can really with political parties, but at some point it's going to swing so far that it's going to get stuck. It's the swing that your kid's swinging on, and they go so high up there that they can't maintain it. They end up falling out of it, or they end up going around the whole deal. Because at some point, you push the lever just too far to one side. Now, I will say that you can do that on the right as well. And I swear, I have my book half written. I've never written a book before. I want to write a book. I have it kind of laid out. I just haven't sat down and wrote it because I don't have time to do that right now, but I will. Because I really want to get this message out. But you can go too far to the right as well. Do you know what too far right means? It means you go to another level of anarchy. You have so little government that you actually don't have anything to actually keep law and order and peace and common sense reigning in society. You go too far to the left and it gets too big and big and big and big and big, and you have the socialism and the communism and the fascism and the Nazism and all this other stuff, which they try and say is on the right, but that's not true in any way, shape, or form. But it gets so big that it stays there until people revolt and you overthrow it, and you have anarchy. And it's a nice whole circle of life thing. But they do a very good job appealing to the younger generation because the younger generation's pushing that envelope so far that the pendulum is going to get stuck. The age of disorder from the millennial generation, the AOCs of the world that are going to ruin things because they don't know common sense. They don't know what up and down is and what right and wrong is, and they don't know anything. They just want me. The participation trophy, the bubble and the helicopter parenting that they received. They didn't have to work for anything. Not everybody, again, this is not just a generalization. This is targeted towards the ones that actually try and believe this garbage. Because there are obviously very many commonsensical millennials that we need to focus on. But they get younger and younger as well. I don't know if you saw this or not, but Joe Biden, who obviously is totally in tune with the millennial generation. I mean, that 70-plus-year-old guy that falls asleep when he's speaking and doesn't remember his own name and doesn't remember a whole lot of anything. That guy is totally in tune with the millennial generation and what they want. Primo, like, awesome. He's guy out there surfing with all the surf bums, right? Yeah, not really. But they do somehow appeal to many younger generations to the point to where, I don't know if you've seen this story or not, a 15-year-old has been consumed by the Joe Biden administration. Now, I'm not talking about with him trying to give her lots of hugs and kisses and sniff her hair. I'm not saying that one. What I am saying is that according to Breitbart.com, the Biden campaign has taken over an Instagram fan account that had 94,000 followers because they didn't have a presence on Instagram. It was a 15-year-old girl, 85,000 followers, that she created the account back in April to support Joe Biden and went from being called at Team Joe Biden that was run by a 15-year-old girl to now she's working as an official volunteer of the campaign, and her Instagram account is now absorbed into the Joe Biden campaign at Vote Joe that now has 94,000 followers. They didn't have any influence on social media, so they consumed a 15-year-old girl's Instagram page and made it the official page for Joe Biden. That's how in tune Joe Biden is with the younger generation and with the social media. They had to use a 15-year-old to get some presence on Instagram, and now she's an official volunteer for the campaign. Now, she doesn't know anything from left or right. She doesn't know much about issues other than being emotional of, I want to change the world. And trust me, I get it. If you're passionate, if you want to get involved in politics, if you want to do something productive, then you try and get joined up, and yeah, you try and do something. I got discredited for so long on the radio because right now I'm a millennial because I'm younger, and even still, I still get some that are like, do you haven't experienced the world? You don't know what you're talking about. I'm not going to listen to you because you're not trustworthy because you haven't experienced enough in the world to know what you're talking about for political talk radio. I'm not going to believe you. And I think, at least in my opinion, I've tried to do a good job of proving myself that I'm intelligent and that I understand the issues enough for us to have a deep conversation about it. But back then, when I first started in radio 7 years ago, nobody listened to me. Nobody. He's just a young kid. I mean, that would have been, 25 years old? Nobody listened to a 25-year-old on the radio. Now imagine going to a 15-year-old and saying, you like Joe Biden? We'll take over your Instagram account. You'll become a volunteer for the campaign. That's the representation. Greta, what's her name? Greta Thunberg with the environmentalist thing. That is their experts on environmentalism. bringing the young girl up there saying, oh, you're taking me out of my class, you're taking away my future, I'm very emotional. It's about emotion, it's about the young children, and it's trying to rally the younger crowd because that's all they have. People that are seasoned to the world, people that understand the world, people that have worked it through the world with their blood, sweat, and tears, trying to create a business, trying to create their lifestyle, trying to create a savings for their self for their retirement. They're the ones that don't buy this garbage. So instead, we have the time of the age of disorder because the younger generation just wants, I'm going to get my stuff. I want that entire collection of a season of shows. I want this entire garage full of tools. Although that wouldn't be for a millennial thing. They'd be like, I want this whole collection of coffee beans. I don't know. But whatever they want it right now. And you have to pay for it. This is the age of disorder that we're talking about. Now, how do they do it? They do it through government, so they're not going to get it anyways. Or if it is, then it's going to be filtered through the government and it's going to be handed to them in a stale bread form. But that's what they go for. Then we have the issue of security. The old generation, I'm staying back. I like my privacy. You're not going to come on my property. Stay off my lawn. Remember those? Get off my lawn. With the firearm and just don't come on my property. This is my personal place. So different from the millennial generation. So different. To the point to where we don't care if we go on social media and the government that's tracking us with all the digital information from social media has all of our information. They don't care. They don't care. Whatever. I'd sacrifice that. Free pizza? Sure, I'll put in my social security card. Yeah, why not? Because some actually do. So what we've done now, I think we've gone down the wrong direction here in the age of disorder with online freedom. Social media that's censoring us. We have 2,000 plus followers on our Facebook page right now, and we have not 2,000 views on our Facebook Live show every day. Now, obviously, not everybody's going to watch it, but at least the majority of those 2,000 people should be able to see the feed and pop up and be like, wow, the Voice of Reason's live. Not happening. Not happening. So we'll continue to fight and we'll continue to grow. But if you know about it, you have to go out and find it because it's not going to be presented to you on social media. They don't want you to see it. So now we see Republicans introducing an Online Freedom and Viewpoint Diversity Act to fight censorship from big tech. But what is that going to do in the long run? How is that going to solve it if you're giving government control over the big tech industries? Does that solve anything at the end of the day? It may solve the issue right now when we're being discriminated against, but when they use that to actually go against our agenda or our values later on down the road, does that really solve anything? The age of disorder goes a lot deeper than just finances, which is what the original story from Market Watch was talking about. The age of disorder, redistributing that wealth. It's an entire different lifestyle between the different generations, and the younger generation is doing things that are really against their own will and against their own needs, and they don't even realize it because they are disorderly and they are unintelligent and they are ill-informed. That's why we need to spread the word more, and that's what we do here. We'll do it one more segment here coming up on a Wednesday here on The Voice of Reason. Lots more to get to. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of The Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hooser Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always sign up for the Patreon site to get exclusive content, maybe hear show products before we air them on the radio, and a lot more. And when you support us on Patreon, you also help the show be able to fight for conservative values each and every day. So it's a win-win. Just find us at Hooser Reason on all of your social media platforms, or you can find a link to all of our social media sites on our website at HooserReason.com. We know you're on social media already, so bring some reason into your day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station. We're here for you. Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can listen to the podcast Catch our special features and more. It's the Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com.
Oh, hi. You know, conservative messages now are more important than ever before. Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda. What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. And I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet. It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hooser Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn. Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode. Third, make sure to visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what the Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the program today. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite podcasting sites and have the show automatically downloaded to your phone or computer every single day. Just find us on any podcasting site or go to HooserReason.podbean.com. And be sure to check out our Patreon site, become the ultimate Hooserholic, and help us fight for conservative values every day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Now back to the national broadcast of the Voice of Reason.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
I love some of the comments on social media going down there. First off, Andy, we have been listening to you. I appreciate that. Andy, you're still young. I know, but at the same time, starting to gain some, right? A little bit. I feel old. Just like yesterday, I feel like an old spirit at least. So I guess that's good news on that front. Andy, I want all the tools if you get everything. Me too. I'd be one of those too. I'm one of those, I guess I'm a hoarder. My wife says I'm a hoarder because I definitely like to collect things. There is something that you'll laugh at this. There is something that I've been collecting for a long time, and I have 3 big gallon Ziploc baggies full of them, and I've collected them since college, and I obviously didn't get to collect all of them, but beer bottle caps. I know. Don't laugh at me. Now, the reason I did is I actually have a plan for them. What do you have a plan for, Andy? Well, I have the plan because one of these days, I'm going to use it to build something. I'm going to use them to build either like a desk or a table or something and have the beer bottle caps of all the different types of adult beverages and actually make it a table. And I think it's going to be really cool. I know people laugh at me for it, but I don't really care. So I guess I'm kind of a hoarder. And yeah, when I want to get things, I like to collect all of them because I'm a dork like that. So you know what? Don't make funny. But I understand that I can't just take everybody else's beer bottle caps and try and make my own table. I want it to be something of a success for me because it's all the work that I put into it, as in all the heavy 12-ounce curls that I've did since college and all the long years of consuming. You got to enjoy something, right? It's the little things in life. So the age of disorder goes beyond just the economic issues, where the economic analysts are saying that we're moving from the age of globalization to the age of disorder. We've expanded internationally now. Now there's complete chaos. And it's all thanks to my generation. All thanks to my generation, from their economic policy to trying to redistribute wealth, to trying to grow government agencies and have government control things, to trying to take things from the older generation but do it through government regulation and do it through them. That doesn't make any sense. To even just being more transparent and open with our privacy, because privacy obviously doesn't actually matter, which I just don't get. GOP senators to introduce Online Freedom and Viewpoint Diversity Act to try and protect viewpoints on social media. Why does the government need to do this? Now, I understand the need for it right now, and this is what we usually go to. Again, we go towards the government to say, solve this. There's a problem. We need to fix this. The normal capitalist, laissez-faire, free market kind of guy inside me says, if they're silencing you that bad, don't do it. Go somewhere else. But not enough people are doing that now. Not enough people care. Let's be honest about it. Not enough people care. Twitter silences people every single day. So what have we done? We've done different sources, Minds.com, Parler, which you can find us on for the show on these different sites, as an alternative to Twitter, because Twitter likes to silence conservative viewpoints day in and day out. There's nothing new about that. We know about that. They admit to doing it. But not enough people are leaving it and saying, I can't deal with this anymore. Some are, but it's not enough for them to be impacted financially or be impacted enough with numbers that they really care. They're like, bye, Felicia. They don't really care. They're done. See you later. See you later. So our battle has been, we try to stay on there and fight the battle that we can and call people out, so that way they don't have their echo chamber of dumbness, and we actually try and challenge some of their thoughts on there. Then we bounce in and out of Facebook jail or Twitter jail or whatever. And we do our part because we understand there's a demand or a need for it there, so that way they don't only get one side of the aisle, because there are so many people on it that you have to have the presence. It's gotten that big. It's gotten not too big to fail per se, but it's that same kind of mindset. Remember back during the George W. Bush time, Barack Obama time, it's too big to fail. Too big. We can't let it fail. We got to do the bailouts. Got to do the omnibus bills. Got to do this and that together to save them, because they're too big to fail. Big tech has gotten to the point of not too big to fail, but too big to look the other way and walk away from. Too big to ignore and go do our own thing, because then we don't have as loud of a voice as we potentially do on these social media sites, unfortunately. So now we have Republicans trying to put an act or a bill together to try and actually keep it reasonable and fair between them. I don't like these types of bills, because we should be able to handle it in the private sector, but they dominate the private sector and they're making it more and more difficult each and every day. So what do we do from it now? I don't know. I guess this is the answer, at least for now, until we can balance things out. Or you can deregulate the internet, and you can let people just kind of do whatever you want. Be the pirates on the interweb, again, like we used to be back in the day when it first got started. Either way, the age of disorder continues, and the millennial generation continues to screw things up. Not to just knock on my generation the entire time, but you can see the disparities, the changes here, and it's going to start changing policy. It's going to start changing government ways of operation. It's going to start changing society in the long term unless we do something about it and we're aware of the changes happening in front of our eyes, because sometimes that frog boiling in the water slowly but surely doesn't realize it until it's too late. And that's not what we're about. That's it for the show today. Make sure to be your own voice of reason. It's time for you, because of all this, to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. This is The Voice of Reason, back at it tomorrow for a Thursday. Stay here. Everybody have a wonderful afternoon. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.